Hello everyone, welcome to this Barry-Wehmiller webcast. This is part of our ongoing PLM webcast series where we're discussing today optimizing global product development. I am Ankur Yadav, I'm your speaker today. So the way we've structured these slides is that we just give you an intro where we basically discuss the topics for today, which would be multi-CAD design and using projects to work with your global teams. So the theme is working with global teams. Now you would have in most enterprises a structure where you would be using multiple CAD models, multiple CAD software within the same organization, but apart from that you would be working with your suppliers, distributors and customers, and sometimes you will have files designed in an alternative software. Your people may be using Creo, Windchill DS, AutoCAD, and you would want to be able to maintain a structure within Windchill for all your multi-CAD software. The other topic we are covering today is using projects for multi-CAD, or just design in general, using teams that are spread out across the globe. So as part of this series, we've already covered some of these topics, and these were workflows, change management, and BOM management. But today we would be concentrating on project management, document management, distributed collaboration using projects, and heterogeneous CAD data management, or also called multi-CAD design. So the first best practice that we would be discussing, the multi-CAD design, it can be different levels for different people, and there could be different value coming out of the complexity. The most basic level would involve having two separate CAD software and therefore maintaining two different product structures that do not in any way interact with each other. This is the most basic multi-CAD design environment, but we move on to the intermediate level where you would have a single product structure even though you would be using two heterogeneous CAD products or multiple heterogeneous CAD products. And the most advanced level, and also called HDIC, heterogeneous design in context, is what we are going to show you a few slides about today. So the practice basically involves creating CAD models within the context of a foreign CAD model. The capabilities we would look at would be search and load of non-native CAD data, design by assembling and referencing converted CAD models, store and retrieve multi-CAD designs in Windchill. You can see there's some benefits coming out of this. The process and data management environment eliminates laborious manual exchange of heterogeneous data, which I guess would be the single biggest benefit. So the basics are that you access your heterogeneous product structure, launch it in Creo. So you would load UG data into Creo, design it within the context of Creo, synchronize your changes, and put it all back into your PLM software. So the initial condition that we need would be having your CAD systems data managed within Windchill and an installation of Creo that has ATB module, the associative topology bus module installed. So we'll just open up a UG assembly within Creo. We already have a model. We call it M4100. It's made up of a simple crown gear, pinion gear. So what we do is we go and search for UG CAD documents using the search capability within Windchill. And the assembly that we want to work with comes up. It's highlighted at the bottom here. So this is non-Creo CAD data. We right click on the object and click view in Creo on the bottom pane you can see the actual UGNX assembly. And all of this opens up within Creo. This is just a new terminology here, TIM, the translated image model. So what we have is a UGNX drawing that has been, not just a drawing, 3D data that has been opened within Creo. And then what we do is we assemble this. So the earlier pinion gear, crown gear have been assembled into here. So the translated image model in the previous slide again is basically just talking about this non-Creo CAD model that we are accessing within Creo. As you can see, the icon set is quite different from what you're used to within Creo. So this is the assembly of your heterogeneous CAD model. There's model tree options that basically allow you to view the location of each of the files where they're coming from. Now all this data is checked into Windchill, but in the meanwhile, at another location in your global team, someone opens up a part within UG and performs some usual design tasks and checks the entire assembly back in. And as far as the UG user is concerned, nothing really changes, it's all business as usual. But if you look into the workspace, because the TIM that was checked in as part of an earlier model now has some out-of-date UG data, Windchill highlights changes using these small timer glyphs. Now within the context of Creo, you can use the ATB module's check status option to check the status of the TIM. And if you notice in this screenshot that there's a red sort of glyph right over the model that was modified in this TIM, and you get a report saying that you have out of status, data that's not synchronized. You can use the update option so that you can perform an associative update within the context of your Creo TIM, and therefore your non-Creo CAD doc gets updated to its latest, and then you have all the TIM data in Creo. It's updated to the latest source information. You can then perform a custom check-in into Windchill, and what we get is a final heterogeneous product structure that is made up of Creo Elements Pro data and UG data, all residing within a single product structure within Windchill. The next best practice that we discuss is related to Project Link, how you would use it within your global teams. So we really would want, when we are working with global teams, to be able to standardize execution of product development activities across the project types. And we would want consistency in project execution, management, and monitoring. So what we're going to show is through the use of templates how we can capture standardized information, relationships of the plan of the project, etc. We will also be looking at a redesign concept. Basically, we have a part that we want redesigned, and we will be creating independent collaboration spaces. These would be several projects that would have their own teams, and the data would be segregated in confidential supplier information, which basically is about people from different projects not being able to access supplier information of the other project. So one of your suppliers in Europe and Asia are working on two different projects, two different collaboration spaces. So both of them check in their design into your project environment. All the departments that are involved with this process review the information, and then finally you're able to decide on a specific component that you find best suits your needs. So what we are going to do at this point is just go through a simple demo of this concept. So what I have here is a assembly. Just someone has put in an annotation onto this wheel assembly. This is just a basic assembly. It's just for the sake of this presentation that we're looking at, the simple model. So what we have is just a small part that needs change, and maybe we decide to do a redesign altogether. So what you can do is you can send an email out to people saying to check an annotation. I'm just being lazy here, not filling the entire text. So someone gets this email, decides it's time to create 2 different collaboration spaces. They go into the folders from where they can access this object, or they can, well, just click on actions and copy the product. Now I'm just showing you that this is a structure, and it's made up of a top level assembly that's composed of several different parts. So I've just copied the assembly over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and I'm logged in as admin all this time. I'm going to create a new project. So I'll call this wheel assembly redesign. And at this point I pick a template. Well, there's a few templates that are already available to me, but I really want to use a template that is specific to redesign. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to my organization, templates, and I have some templates here. This is the redesign template that I'm interested in as an admin. I already have a redesign project running. And I click OK. So what I've done is I've created 2 separate collaboration spaces. There's WA redesign EU and there's WA redesign simple. What I'm also going to do is go into this template, also this projects team, and I'm going to make an update. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove Jane, who came in as part of this template, and I'm going to add a new engineer, Cloudy. Now, Cloudy is a supplier who would be working on this project. So let me just go ahead and show you the project list for Cloudy, and you see WA redesign EU is part of Cloudy's project list. Let's go and look at Jane's project list as well. And Jane is working on WA redesign. They both really cannot access each other's projects. We'll go in to both these projects, and you'll see they have a similar folder structure, because this is information that we find that is reusable when we are doing redesign. Let's just look at the plan. And again, well, the plan are also similar. So these are 2 different projects that have reusable components by way of the team, by way of their folder structure, by way of the plan. If I look at, well, let's just quickly add a timeline here. So what I'll do is I'll pick everything that's part of this, click on actions, click on add to timeline. Oh well. For now, Cloudy is a supplier, therefore does not have the similar kind of access permissions, and that's just basically talking about how you could control the kind of work that users can do within a project. Now, Cloudy is basically a supplier, and if you go in as the admin who created this project and click on the plus icon here, you will actually see that in Cloudy's username that Cloudy is a supplier, because his credentials really come in from a separate organization altogether. Now, this is something we could go really deep into. Supplier management is really part of Windchill, but for now we're just doing this simple demo where we have people getting access to our projects across their global teams. Now, you remember how we copied over the wheel assembly. What I'm going to do is, for each of these projects, now I'm going to go ahead and share this information. Well, just a second. Yeah. So I had copied this information as the admin, so I'm going to go ahead and, well, paste it into here. Well, okay, let's see. Actually, yeah, that's better. So all the objects that I had copied, pasted into WA redesign EU. I'm going to perform the same action here as well. And this is basically a folder that, a product that I had already set up to a certain degree. So there are some documents that are already part of the project that is already undergoing to a certain extent. And you'll notice that even though the plans for these different projects are similar, really when you want to go into execution mode, you would give different people different kind of work. So for example, compile DIC is a task that exists in the plan of both these projects, but really only one of them has a deliverable associated with it, which is basically just a actual document. So it's a task that says scan compiled doc, and the subject is basically one of these objects that are checked into Windchill. Now you can go ahead and create a new document, and that's just the beauty of using templates within Windchill. You already have a list of documents, and these could be several different document types. So I'll just pick a regular document, and as you can see, there's two different templates available to me. And this is just a placeholder document for now, because I'm creating this out of an existing template. So I'll just click, let me just do this. So I'll just click finish, and what this would do is it would create a document, and it already has attachments, so I can then assign this as a deliverable for someone, and when they get the task associated with this deliverable, they would be able to open up the template that we have and fill in actual information and maybe check it back into Windchill. And this standardizes already captured information that we got from another project. This was a centrifuge 650 redesign project that we did, and we realized this is information that can be reused. So we saved this project as a template, and then we are reusing information from this project, and this helps in standardizing the plan, the folder, the roles, the information of documents that's reusable. And this really helps out your teams. And then further, you can of course have individual design differences where you could then, each team could perform like tasks like assigning resources. So as an admin, of course, I would have to set up all of the plans. Let me just show you quickly another feature here, the Gantt chart explorer. I have an out of date Java, and then Chrome is just talking about that. But anyway, so basically an applet is getting loaded, and this is just this plan's Gantt chart. Let me zoom out a little bit here. So we are looking at weeks instead of days, and just trying to show you that this is your plan. And let's just highlight the critical path here. So the red over here highlights the critical path of this plan. Any delay here could cause delay to the entire project, and therefore you just want to concentrate on these activities. So a nice sort of view, and all of this is reusable. And the other good part is that this plan is actually can be created outside of Windchill. It can be created within Microsoft Project and imported back into Windchill. And that's import plan there. Now I've logged in here as the user Jane, and there's this deliverable that is assigned to Jane. If Jane goes into her home page, oh well, I guess she may have actually completed this task. I'll just give her another deliverable real quick. So this is WA redesign, a new deliverable. I'll just copy this over for now. A simple, I guess, let's just pick document in general, search, and well, let's just assign an existing template object, an object created from a template, so that when Jane gets this task, this new deliverable, when it's assigned to Jane, she would be able to use that template. Let's see. Okay, am I missing something? For now, I'll just empty out the timeline. Removed everything from the timeline, clicked apply, clicked OK, the page refreshes, and yes, now we have the timeline is empty. Oh, yep, here's the deliverable. Just a second. Okay, so it's showing up as a task for Jane here, and When Jane goes in, sees that there is a deliverable associated with her, she can then go into the subject, check it out, and start working on it. So these are objects that were created within this plan, but now I'll just go and show you that as the user Cloudy, if I go click on folders, and there's this design data that was shared with this user, the user will try to right click and sees that he does not really have any options that would really let him make changes. Let's just look at the managed security. So it seems the user Cloudy only has read and download permissions, and therefore really cannot do much. I'll just go in as the admin who was creating this project, who's managing all of this. What I'll do is I'll go to the folders, and I really want Cloudy to be able to work with this data by checking it out and creating new copies or just checking in changes. So what I'll do is I'd right click and convert this into PDM checkout, which essentially means this object that was shared from PDM link has been checked out. So again, I'm Cloudy back inside the EU folder. I refresh the page, and this glyph here shows that this is checked out from PDM. Cloudy right clicks and all of a sudden has checkout, edit, permissions coming up. I'll click on manage security, and now you can see Cloudy essentially now has new permissions. And just click on the information. This is access control coming in that gives Cloudy permissions from the team members role that Cloudy is part of. Basically everyone is team member as long as they're part of the project's team. You can have much more fine-grained access control, but for now we'll just stick with this. So you can see how you're sharing the similar design data with different teams, and you have control over the kind of access they have to your data. And this will allow you to work with suppliers. In fact, you could even send it out to customers in advance if you really wanted. And the best part of all of this is that you've essentially created an ad hoc environment which still follows some of your reusable structure. It has a plan, you can assign individual tasks and deliverables, and you still segregate most of your important information into the original product. You've only actually shared just part of your entire golf cart. You have only shared just specifically the wheel assembly and its components, whereas you've kept your security for rest of the data as it is. And I'll just quickly show you one more option. If Cloudy were working on this and made changes and we're happy with what Cloudy has done, Cloudy could make this part of an approval routing where Cloudy can pick approvers and send this object for an approval route, which basically means that someone gets a task as part of a process and would be able to mark this object as having completed certain criteria. So you could have a workflow, you can make your objects pass through. And well, that's basically essentially what we wanted to cover today. Thank you for attending.